exhaustive list. This is just kind of a summary, a high-level summary of the biggest benefits that our partners enjoy. And the way that you would attain these benefits is when you attain your very first competency, that's a silver competency or a gold competency, you'll get the set of benefits one time as an organization. So if you have at least one gold competency, you'll get the set of benefits that are outlined on the right-hand side under gold. If you have at least one silver competency but no gold competencies, you'll receive the benefits that are outlined here as silver. And again, these are one-time benefits that are meant to help you run your organization. So at a high level, silver competencies give you roughly enough licenses to run a 25-person org. You get some support and prioritization within our marketplaces, some training, and a whole bunch of other benefits. For a gold competency, partners will get roughly enough software to run a 100-person organization and a higher level of support as well as prioritization in our marketplaces. So that gives you your core benefits. In addition to that, and this is something that a lot of partners I think aren't quite aware of, is you will get an additional layer of benefits for each competency that you've attained. So think about these core benefits as your base benefits, and then there are additional building blocks that you get for each competency that you've attained. And there are different levels for silver competencies versus gold competencies. These vary by each competency because they provide licenses that are specific to that solution area. So a BI competency would give you a whole bunch of BI-related software, whereas an ERP competency would give you software that's more related to our ERP solution. And a gold competency would give you more licenses than a silver competency. And so again, think about this. If you have, let's say, 6 competencies, you would get your core benefits, and then you would get the competency-specific benefits for each one of those 6 competencies in addition to those core benefits. And that's where you see a lot of the value coming through, and you see your software entitlements really adding up. In order to make this a little easier for you to get your hands around, you'll notice here where I'm kind of circling my cursor, this license calculator link. You can go to a license calculator that we have on Microsoft.com, and you can then plug in the different competencies that you have or you're thinking of attaining, and whether they're silver or gold competencies, and it will help add up for you all of the different licenses so that you can get a handle around what you truly would get from a software entitlement standpoint. And again, remember, in addition to all this, there's a whole host of support benefits and other benefits, but I just wanted to talk about this competency-specific benefits as an addition to the core benefits. So with that, I'm going to take a pause here. It looks like we've got quite a few questions in the queue. So Brian and Arnie, I'm going to ask you guys to maybe ask some of those questions, and we'll address those before we move forward.
Sure. Perfect. Thanks, Sharon. So start at the top here. Marty, you had asked Sharon, how do you define channel back on the first slide? That may not be an easy one to answer. Do you recall how you were defining channel when you first started?
When I'm thinking of our channel, when I talk about our channel, I'm thinking of our customers, our partners, and Microsoft within the IT, channel. Hopefully that clarifies it.
Yes, perfect. Okay. With the requirements to have, I'm sorry, Arnie.
Yeah, I was just going to add. I think it's a good question because we do tend to throw the term around. We're not speaking of specifically the transacting partners that are selling our volume licenses when we talk about channel. It's a broad, we're using it as a broad term to mean the ecosystem of partners.
Thank you for that clarification.
Thanks, Arnie. This next one I think is perfect, Sharon. It's one that I told you earlier I think is the most common. With the requirements to have assigned MCPs to meet gold competencies, what is your recommendation for the best way for us, a small firm, to meet those requirements since we don't have a large staff pool to send to training? Do you think the new program favors large companies for gold competencies in this way?
That's a great question, and actually I'm going to, I think it's my next slide right here, talks about this. So Brian, let me address the slide with the requirements and how those differ for everyone on the call, and then I will answer that question as part of it. So do you want to hit another question first, or?
It's your call, Sharon, whichever you prefer.
Okay, why don't I answer this, and then I'll pause and cover the rest of the questions.
Okay.
So when we looked at the different opportunities for membership within the Microsoft Partner Network, I talked about the big oval that was just joining our community. For any partner to join a community, there's a very minimal level of requirements. All you need to do, you can see all these NAs going through the list here, all you need to do is complete a short profile online, and you become a member of the Microsoft Partner Network. It gives you access to many of our online resources, and you can stay closer and engage within Microsoft. There's no cost, very little that you need to do. If you want to step up your involvement with us, you can go into the subscription space. In here, we talked about the Microsoft Action Packs as being our two primary subscription offerings, and in addition, there's the Cloud Essentials. So looking at the Action Pack requirements, all you need to do is you need one person to pass a Microsoft Online assessment every couple of years. You've got a short profile, and you need to pay the annual subscription fee. It's $329 for Action Pack Solution Provider, $429 for development and design version of Action Pack. I want to clarify in case we have any Canadian partners on the line. What I'm talking about when I'm quoting the prices here is for the U.S. It's slightly different in Canada. So with that said, this is a great value for the amount of software that you get. It's a perfect opportunity for a one-man or even two-man shop, smaller partners that want to get access to much of our licenses at a low cost and be able to use that as you're building your business. Those partners that are interested in really attaining the brand and getting that higher level of engagement with Microsoft and are interested in attaining competencies have some options. And the next two columns here are the silver competency and the gold competency. So to attain a silver competency, the requirements are extremely similar to what you had to do in the old Microsoft Partner Program to be able to get get a gold competency, to become a gold certified partner or even a certified partner. You need 2 MCPs. And again, we have some exceptions for ISVs, so if we have ISVs on the phone, know that we have opportunities for you to test your product versus individuals. But I will focus on the people tracks to be able to do this. But you need 2 MCPs that pass a list of exams that you'll find on our partner portal. And they're specific and different for each competency. There is no revenue commitment with the exception of the Dynamics competencies. We have a couple of online assessments, and these are new this year. There's a licensing overview, and there's a sales and marketing competency assessment for most competencies. I've got some information on that later in the presentation, but those are online. They're free. They're pretty easy to do, and we haven't had a lot of partners share any concerns there. And then we've got our 3 customer references. Again, you've got to profile yourself and sign up online in the Partner Membership Center, and you'll need to pay the membership fee, which is $18.50. One key note here is that the membership is a fee for the organization, so whether you have 1 competency or 10 competencies, it is a one-time fee. It is not per competency. Then moving on to the gold competencies, and this is where I think the question was coming in. We need, you'll need 4 unique partners that have, so 4 MCPs, excuse me, that are unique for a gold competency. Let me spend some time on this. First things first, I want everyone to understand that gold competencies in the new Microsoft Partner Network are not the same as gold certified. We have introduced a brand new membership opportunity. It is a much more difficult certification and brand to attain than it used to be. And this is in direct feedback to many of our customers and partners where we heard that it was too easy to get to become gold certified, that the brand was devalued. There was way too many gold certified partners out there that it really didn't mean anything to their customers or even to partners, and they were looking for a way to really bring up that bar. And so in response to that feedback, we introduced gold competencies. So please keep in mind that certified does not equal silver and gold does not equal gold. It's unfortunate that the brands are, have the same word gold in them, because I think that presents some confusion in the marketplace, but please keep that in mind. This whole notion of gold competency is a brand new membership opportunity. That being said, the gold the gold levels of competencies that are introduced require 4 MCPs, and the tests that you have to take are a higher level. They're pro-level certifications. So it is more challenging to attain. When you receive your first gold competency, you need 4 individuals for most competencies. We do have some exceptions. As an example, our mid-market solution provider competency, which is the evolution of the network infrastructure competency, only requires 3 MCPs. So you could attain a gold competency with 3 people on staff. The other thing I want to clarify here is that the idea with introducing this uniqueness, and I know that we hear a lot of smaller partners saying, hey, how do we get to attain a gold competency? So you do need at least 3 people on staff to be able to attain a gold competency. Now, if you want to have multiple gold competencies, that requirement is unique. So in other words, you need the people for your first gold competency. If you want a second gold competency, you will need an additional 4 individuals that have passed the certifications for that particular competency. However, if you want to get 1 gold competency and additional silver competencies, that uniqueness does not play into that at all. So many of our partners are getting their gold competency, and then they're using those same MCPs to attain multiple silver competencies. So the same is used to be able to share those people as long as they've met those credentials. Those same people could be used to get additional gold, silver competencies. So please keep that in mind. The only time this uniqueness plays in is if you want more than 1 gold competency. The reason why we introduced this notion of uniqueness is we wanted to find a way to highlight and identify our most committed partners that are the most qualified. And what I mean by that, these partners have taken the time to hire and certify at these higher levels, these pro-level certifications, enough MCPs dedicated to a specific solution area, and we also needed to introduce an element of scale. And the idea here is if you are a gold certified or a partner with a gold competency, and you've taken the time to hire these individuals, you've trained them, they're our most qualified partners within the specific solution area. We also wanted to make sure that when a customer wanted to engage with you, you would be able to scale at that highest level of expertise. And so if you're going after a number of different engagements, we wanted to make sure that you had enough of these high-level certified professionals available to service the needs of those customers, and not only have, let's say, a couple people on staff that would service one engagement, and when another customer came along, you might not have enough folks at that highest level, and you'd have to resort to maybe sending some other individuals that were not as highly qualified when the customer has expectations for the highest level of engagement. So we recognize that that will be harder for some of our smaller partners than it is for larger ones, but nonetheless, we want to make sure that you recognize that Microsoft is very committed to our SMB partners. That is the bread and butter of everything that we do, and we absolutely have made accommodations and look for opportunities for our smaller partners to be able to attain a gold competency, which is why we reduced the number of MCPs that are required in our mid-market solution competency. For those partners that are smaller and can't attain multiple gold competencies, I would encourage you to look for attaining that 1 gold competency in your biggest area of expertise. So what do you lead with when you go into a customer? What do you tell them is like your top-notch area where you're really the best at? Look at attaining a gold competency there if that's important to you, and then perhaps supplementing it with silver competencies, leveraging those same MCPs. So if you are, top-notch in server, look at getting a server competency and maybe looking at getting some silver virtualization competencies or security, if that's your area, to kind of supplement it, and you can leverage those same people to get those additional competencies. I'm hoping that that's kind of answered the question, helped explain how to think about gold competencies. And again, remember, when you're going out to pitch yourself, you're not just pitching strictly a brand. The brand is part of what you're selling yourself, and it's important. But you also have your references and all of the work that you've done. And whenever I've talked to customers, they're like, okay, the brand is part of it, but we sell ourselves with our skills, our expertise, our references, and a whole host of things. So that is just a part of what you're doing when you're talking to a potential customer. So let me finish off this slide, and I'll go back to the questions. There is a revenue commitment And I'm going to spend a couple slides on that in a moment, so I won't get into too much detail here. For those partners that are interested in attaining a gold competency, there is a revenue component to it, and that is to make sure, now I want to